If I would have known finding another apartment was going to be this difficult. It wasn't even finding the apartment. It was getting into the apartment. So I was looking and looking and looking. I couldn't find nothing that was either in my budget, that was updated, that was clean. Like, I mean, me, I could have just cleaned myself, but how am I going to renovate a whole bathroom, a whole kitchen? So it makes sense. But like what Paris was charging, I was like they're not serious. Like they are not serious. It was one apartment I found. It was so nice, but it was really small. And like literally, I had to walk to the sixth floor, no elevator. The stairs was so small, and the apartment like building literally felt like I was in like a crack house that I was seeing like on Belly or something on like the movies. Like my mother was like, "No, you're not living there." Mm-mm. So it's really, I think like people only think about like the luxuriousness of Paris, but it's not my peace in Paris at all. So I finally found my apartment. It was definitely a blessing because basically time was ticking and I honestly thought I was going to have to stay in an extended stay. And it was like 2 weeks before it was time for me to move. I had went on a bunch of apartment like showings. And, I started kind of panicking. So I was just like, you know what? Like, if I don't find anything by now, I'm going to look and just stay in an extended stay and see what I can find. I had found one in Airbnb, and it was Séjour and Affaires. And so I went to the hotel, and I walked up, and it was a guy from Texas. And he was black, and he was like, "Hey, what's up? How are you?" I'm like, "Is this an African American?" Because I was like, "Hey." He was like, "Oh yeah, they told me like you were speaking English. I figured you were American or whatever," because I was on the phone prior to. I was like, "Yeah, where you from?" He's like, "Oh, I'm from Texas, whatever. Like we get to chopping it up, blah blah." I'm complaining like Francis been stressing me. And so he's like, so I'm like, like I want to get a room here. Like how much are the rooms? Because online I saw the rooms were like 1,000 euros a month. And I was like, okay, whatever, like I'll just pay that. And he's like, no, the room is it's like 700 euros. And I was like, huh? And I was like, but on the website, he was like, aren't you a student? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, yeah, we have student apartments like that's right on the other side of the building. Like I can get you an apartment for like 761 euros a month. And I was like, how big is the apartment? And he was like, oh, it's like 27 square meters, 25 square meters, something like that. I was like, can I see it? Yeah. And I say, I don't know what I've been living in, but it ain't what I was supposed to be living in. Like, wow. I instantly walked in and was like, this is where I was supposed to be the whole time. Like, I was not supposed to be struggling like that. A blessing. My previous rent was like 1,000 euros with electricity. Like, I was paying 1,000 euros to live in, like, whatever it was. It was bug infested. I didn't say that because I seen a roach in the cabinet. Literally, one. We don't do roaches. I ain't grow up with roaches. That's not my type of situation. I ain't trying to go backwards. I don't know what that is. So, like, it was just so, like, clean. Everything is new. Like, the appliances are new. Most of the Parisian apartments are furnished anyway. Like, you can get it unfurnished, but for somebody who's just like traveling here, like it's nice to have a furnished apartment. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like I want it, like how do I get it, whatever. He's like, okay, you have to go to a student agency and they just have to verify that you're a student. Like if you have any troubles, like let me know, I'll help you. So I'm like, cool. He gave me the number. I called them that next morning and it wasn't working on my phone. It wasn't going through. I don't know what number I was dialing in. I don't know why it wasn't working for me. But I went there to see it on a Wednesday, and the next day was a Thursday when I was trying to call. So I couldn't get in contact with the place. So on Friday, I wanted to go back up to the hotel because he told me to come back on a Friday. But the way my classes were, I didn't have enough time to do it, and they would have been closed by the time I got out. So I ended up going back on Saturday. So on Saturday I went, and the guy, it wasn't the same guy that I talked to, it was another guy. He ended up just calling the place on my phone, so like it would just go straight through. And he was like, yeah, I know the number works or whatever. So I was like, okay, great, no worries, I'll call them. And he's like, they're not open today, call them Monday morning first thing. So when these people are on YouTube telling you that the French administration is the worst thing ever, I thought they were just talking about, like, you know, government, like departments, buildings, when you have to renew your visa, like the post office is pretty trash. It's people who got to do administrative work, like the student agency. This was literally a week from hell. Not even a week, it was 3 days from hell. Literally, because at the end of the day, like I just knew I was in a nightmare. So I called them. They're like, oh, you gotta fill out like your application online, like it's fine. I'm like, oh, no worries, great. I get off the phone with them instantly, fill out the application. I called them back. Like, I filled out the application, I'm ready to move in, like what's the next steps? They're like, okay, I'm gonna look through your application. I'm on the phone while they're looking through the application. Oh, everything looks great. They're like, oh, your guarantor, which is, so a guarantor, like finding an apartment, is like a co-signer. So they literally like make everybody, if you are an expat traveling here, like they're going to make you have a co-signer. And sometimes they make you have one that actually lives in France. Thank God. Like they let me use my mom. So I just used her as a co-signer. Although like I already have like student loans and stuff, so I have that. So with Parents Attitude, they actually just took like my financial aid because it was enough. Like I'm on scholarship and stuff, so I had enough to pay for that, and I also had my savings left over, so I just sold pay stubs. But I ended up using my mom as a co-signer or a guarantor. So she looks through it and she's like, "Oh, this looks amazing. Like it looks great. I'll email you back at the end of the." She didn't say the end of the day. She said, "I'll email you back." And I said, okay, like, are you going to email me back, like, in an hour or, like, at the end of the day, like, in the morning? Like, what's the process? She's like, oh, maybe, I don't know for sure, maybe at the end of today or tomorrow. I said, okay, well, you know, if you don't email me back today, I'll call tomorrow. And she's like, okay. First red flag. How you don't know when you gonna finish your work? I know when I know when I finish my work. I know when my work is due. Okay. Anyway, so the next day, I'm trying to be a little more proactive because I see what's going on, and I feel like what I saw on YouTube is about to happen to me. I just felt it in my spirit. So I asked one of my friends, like Farah, who speaks French. I was like, hey, you know, like, can you call this apartment for me? Because I need for you to like tell them to like I have to move out by the end of the week in French. Because at this point, it's Tuesday. And I have to be out of my apartment by Sunday. Right? I don't have no contract. I don't have no keys. Okay. So I call them back and they're like, oh, madame, sorry. The person who has your case, she didn't email you back because she wanted to let you know that she would prefer to email you. Huh? Tell me that because you speak French that you want to talk through email. Wait. Okay. I said, okay, merci. I'll email her. Thank you. Hung up the phone. Farah, can you call these people? So Farah gets on the phone. And she starts speaking French to them, telling them that I need to move into this apartment. She already saw the apartment. Like, what are the next steps? She already has the guarantor. She already has the application. She's ready to move in. So they're like, oh, we didn't email her because she needs a second guarantor. Huh? So they wanted me to get another co-signer. Mind you, everybody I tell this story to saying that I needed a second co-signer, they're like, what? Whatever. Okay. I'm going to call my sister. Okay. It's going to be a headache, but I'm going to call her. See if she'll do it. So, you know, she was like, okay, they running my credit. I'm like, no, they literally just want paperwork. So that's the thing that was actually blowing me because they're not even running credit. I could literally just be making these numbers up on Adobe PDF. Like, they would never know. So to satisfy them, I call my sister. My sister fills out the application online. So we called them, Farrah called them at like maybe like 11 o'clock. My sister has everything filled out by like 3 o'clock. Farrah calls the lady back before we go to class. She's like, hey, her sister filled out the information. Farrah's like, the lady's on the phone, like, yeah, she has really 2 great guarantors, meaning like, you know, they have like a lot of like money or assets, whatever that they were looking for. And so she's like, all right, yes, like she could possibly move in tomorrow. So I'm thinking like, oh, yes. It's really blowing me because they really didn't want to do this with me because I didn't speak French, but whatever. We got to handle it. I'm going to get some keys. So she's like, she's going to look through everything, get everything together for me. She's going to write up a contract by tonight. I said, Farrah, ask her what time they close tonight because in case they don't send it, I'm calling. I'm going to call to send a reminder. She said they close at 7 o'clock. I said, okay, wonderful. We got out of class at what, 6:15? I'm checking my email. Checking the junk mail. It's no contract. I'm like, Farrah, call them. So she calls them, and she gets another lady. And the lady is like, oh, madame, désolé. The lady who has your friend's case, she went home for the day. Huh? Y'all close at 7. How she go home? And she ain't finished her work. My application's still on her table. She ain't finished her work. How she go home? Literally, the lady went home for the day. And she the only person that got my case. And she has not sent any contract. So at this point, I'm panicking because I see what's going on. People going on their own time. And they not going on my time. And they not. But you know what? They was going to go on God's time. Wake up the next day. It's Wednesday. We, emphasis on we, is just me and Farrah because I'm calling Farrah. I'm like, Farrah, call these people. I ain't got no contract. I need you to call them. So the lady, first of all, Farrah called them. The lady on the phone telling me to check my email, check my spam, because she sent it last night. I had clown written on my forehead because where did you send it? I'm like, Farrah, she's lying. Farrah's like, no, I don't think she, why would she lie? I'm like, she's lying. She did not send that in the email last night, like at all. Like she did not. So then Farrah's like, okay, well, she said, what apartment did you go see? She has to call and verify the apartment. So how you send the contract last night and you don't even know what apartment I'm moving into? That first of all, I put the apartment on the paperwork. I told the lady the last time I talked to her what it was. Now she don't know. She didn't even verify the apartment with the hotel. So that's why I know she ain't sent no contract, so she on the phone lying. So then Farrah's like, she said that the apartment that you want is gone. I said, huh? What? She said the apartment you want is gone. She said because those apartments, like, you really have to be quick about them. She needs to get fucked up, man. Like, you ain't never just tell me that I need to be quick about an apartment that I called you on Monday about and it's gone. What? Y'all, I hadn't even brushed my teeth yet. When I said I threw on my sweats, like, I grabbed my purse. I was about to go fight these people because what you mean my apartment's gone?